I'm sorry, Andrew Weissman, but if I recall correctly, in 2018, you were one of the people who helped write the Mueller report, and you all botched the hell out of that.
And never in my wildest dreams would I have thought we would be here. I thought we were better as a country.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these sites that have been around for creating videos and all that, like text stock videos, they're done.
But that's why Canva was one of the first to get into doing AI.
But we're not done. We're still around. What is up? Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner? Yeah, and 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I reversed it this time, but we're all good. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And since 2020, that team reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. Plus, we're just doing the tally for the end of this year, 2024, and we're going to hit the 100,000 mark again. So that is a beautiful thing. So if you don't know where you are, or if you do know where you are, you're at Primetime Saturday with Aisha LaLa. I think I don't know, I got to check, or maybe Aisha can tell you how long we've been doing this sort of format. Someone was asking me the other day, said, I got to check, but Aisha's good at these things. So why don't I just bring Aisha and LaLa up? And we have Mrs. Claus on today. Mrs. Claus is here. Hello, Mrs. Claus.
Very festive.
Very festive. This is very good. And for people who are watching live on the replay, Aisha's not on cam because she's having a little bit of a health challenge visually, but she's with us in spirit. So what is going on in your worlds, ladies?
Oh, it's beautiful. What's not beautiful? I mean, I try to focus on the holidays and what the real reason for the holiday is. And it helps a lot to just kind of sit back and enjoy the Christmas. I love Christmas lights. Our tree is twinkling. We got our lights in the window, driving around, looking at everybody's lights. It's just starting to feel very peaceful.
Are you comparing?
Yeah. Trying to see what I'm going to do next year.
Okay, I'm going to let you ladies chat for a second. There's something bothering me about my screen here. So, Aisha, what's going on in your world?
Oh, not much. Like I was saying behind the scenes, that the final illustrations for my children's book, The Infallible Fanny Freeman, are done. And so now I'm just setting up with Barnes & Noble to do the printing and the ebook as well. And I have plans for an audio.
Oh,
book.
That's what I was going to ask. There's an audio.
So once I set up the ebook and the print on demand version of the book, then I'm going to move to doing the audio book.
I love it.
Who's going to read it? You?
No, my cousin, who does lots of Broadway stuff. She's been on the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and she starred in Dreamgirls, and she starred in Les Mis on Broadway, and Six.
Hold on. What?
That's amazing.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How come we need to have her on? What?
Yeah, she's what I joke is my grandparents' second batch of grandchildren. They're the ones that me and my sisters that are over 45, and then there are her and my the other two, her sister and then my other cousin that are 32 and under.
So she has them in batches.
Yeah. Well, my aunts are 10 and
she has them in batches. Okay.
Well, my aunts are 10 and 12 years younger than my mother.
Okay.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So that's why there are those of us who are over 45 and then those that are under 32 and under.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
The youngest cousin is the youngest cousin is I think 8 months younger than my nephew and a year older than my daughter.
Oh wow.
That's too much math for me.
Yeah. So my youngest aunt, my sister, and I were all pregnant within the same 18-month period.
Wow. Yeah, that's all at once like that. That's crazy.
Okay, so before we go any further, we have Regina Free. Regina, even before we went live, she says, "Good evening, fellow travelers. So glad to see you choosing joy and peace is on tonight's itinerary." Yes. And she also
Yeah.
says, "Cuteness, LaLa."
Thank
All
you.
right, cuteness, LaLa.
Lala, is that a one-piece pajama set?
Yes, it is. Because you know I love my onesies.
Me too. Oh my gosh, me too. I've got like 4 of them.
Here we go. Here we
But no,
go.
let me tell you, my daughter had this sweater. My daughter works at Forever 21 in the mall, and she got
Okay.
this sweater. It's part of their Wicked themed their clothing. By the way, if you haven't seen it, go see it. It's excellent. But my daughter had this sweater. It's like this brushed kind of sweater. It is so pretty, and it's this pretty green, and it has the Wicked W, the where a pocket would go, and it's comfortable. It's thick, and I was like, oh my gosh, can you get me one? And it was $50, 50% off in the
Oh,
store.
'cause she works there?
And that's they get their discount on top of the store sale. So it was 50% off on the
Wow.
store sale, and then she got the other 50% off. She ended up getting it for $10, and I love it. I can't wait to wear it for the holidays.
Wow.
It's a nice holiday green, and it's so thick and warm. And with it being as cold as it has gotten here, oh my God, I woke up.
Oh,
It
is
was
it really
20.
cold there now?
It
Oh my
was
God,
this week. It was a deep freeze. Like it was bad.
yeah,
Like on Thursday here, crazy.
yeah. It was
Crazy.
20 degrees today. Only the high was like 32.
Oh
Yeah.
no. Mm-mm.
No, well, we're not. We don't live a Sheila glamorous life, LaLa. So we're just we're
Well,
just
believe it or not,
You
Portugal
don't
has
want to
a
pull
lot
out,
of areas that have snow.
yeah, but you don't want to pull out all the winter stuff just yet because the way the weather has been,
it
like
goes
we
back
had,
and forth.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had 80 degrees like 3.5 weeks ago. One day,
Wow.
one day out the blue. So it's like you don't want to put away all of your, you know, fall clothing because it might get too hot. And then
But you
like
know,
me,
global warming is not a thing, right?
no,
Absolutely.
global warming is not a thing, but you try going through global warming and perimenopause at the same time. Those hot, those cold flashes,
Ouch!
I
Ouch!
can't get my body temperature correct at all, and it's a wonder I even sleep because I swear to God, I spend most of my night either opening up a window, closing the window, turning the heat on, turning the fan on, turning the heat off, opening the window, taking the blankets
Yep.
off, changing my clothes. It's like I probably get maybe at the max 2 hours of sleep.
Yep. Yep. I understand that. I'm in the same club.
Oh my gosh. Right now I'm just waiting for my blood test to come back so they can determine how much of this hormone replacement therapy I need because I can't do this.
I don't blame
I
you.
can't keep doing this.
It's so interesting because I'm blessed to chat with all different people in all different walks of life, and that this is something I'm hearing more and more of with ladies
Yes.
that are in your age group.
Yes.
Well, now you'll both you. I think you'll always be forever 21, but in your, so. But I hear that more and more and more,
Yeah, it's a
and
nice
it's there's more I can share on this, but I could just say
Well,
that
I think that part of our choosing joy and peace, particularly in the next year, is that we should have this conversation on this show about menopause and perimenopause because we're struggling as Gen Xers going through this. And these
Nobody
older
told us.
millennials are kind of like, that's really going to happen. Oh yeah, yeah. Nobody told
Nobody
us.
told us.
So
well,
now
yeah,
we want to make sure that y'all know because it's not pleasant.
yeah, 100%. Actually, another area that I'm putting it out there in the universe. I've been getting a lot of education from someone about the whole area of domestic violence against women,
Yes.
and someone has been giving me a lot of information about it, and it's really interesting that almost every other conversation I'm having right now, that subject is coming up, whether it's with women or men.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was chatting with an associate during the week, he has allowed a friend to live in his apartment with him, and she opened up the other day that she has suffered domestic violence from her brother, and her brother has psychiatric issues. And
Oh,
so, and I'm just going, so there's something going on but I just put out in the universe, I just saying, powers that be, do you want me to be a men's advocate against women who have experienced domestic violence? I don't know where it's going to lead, but it's certainly becoming a very poignant conversation topic in my head and with others.
And I think when we do the conversation and we talk about menopause and change of life, we should also talk about prostate health for men, because the other black men in particular have significant challenges with their prostate health, and very many don't get checked as they should.
Oh, I know that. I'm probably one of the. I guess in some areas I'm not perfect, far from it, but one of the areas I don't play with is I go to my doctor every month. And
look, y'all can get a prostate check if we can go put our breasts in a panini press every year.
Yep. Yeah. Hey,
you guys can get the prostate check.
100%. No, I have the same doctor as my dad. So all the health challenges he's had in his life that are potentially hereditary, my doctor keeps an eye out and is always checking to see if I have or susceptible. And if there's even a little bit of a thing, we're in attack mode. We're on the, look at this. So Regina says, I read that misogynist comments online went up 4,660% after the election. What a surprise.
I'm not surprised. And guess what? If anybody forgot what those last 4 years with him had been like, this is what it was like. It started out this way. And of course they're going up because a person in his cabinet owns a social media platform where these things are allowed to take place and does nothing to curb it.
Well, it's just one. I think I shared it in our Discord group, private and the public one, about the opinion polls. There's a lot of support for 47 by millennials. That is concerning. That is. I wanted to put it as a story this week.
But they were up here blaming. Look, but those were the same folks that were sitting up here making all these TikTok videos blaming Gen X and all these think pieces blaming Gen X. And the truth is that, and I had to say this to somebody who was a millennial and somebody who was a Gen Z. They're like blaming us. I'm like, no. The only people who are surprised that there are Gen X people like this are you guys and the younger generations. We know these people. We went to school with them, and they're the same assholes they were then that they are now.
These are the ones who were the kids who were bullied, and now they want to be bullies.
Yeah, like when I saw that, again, I'm in the middle, but when I saw that, saying, "You guys are really wow." Okay, more comments here. We've got Regina saying, "Hope that the new year brings." Shows on health and challenges and solutions. Yeah, I could actually bring on maybe my holistic nutritionist. She's very, very good.
And that's one of the things that we want to do, Regina, because we're like, we are not spending the next 4 years talking just about that man.
Nope. Right. We're not talking about that one every time. No.
Regina says, Nancy Mace, vomit, saying, quote, all women should be believed. Unquote.
I actually wrote an article about Nancy Mace Thursday? I posted it's on my Medium, and I posted it to to Blue Sky. And that article it's called "The Caring of Congress, Nancy Mace, and the Insufferable Legacy of Weaponized Whiteness."
Wow, I gotta go read that.
Dr. Tachi, good day, Dr. Tachi. Hall is good. Regina says, hello, Dr. Tachi. Dr. Tachi says, Regina, hey, sis. And thanks again to Dr. Tachi last night, hanging out with me for about 2 hours. I was doing some testing on a new live stream platform. I didn't get into bed. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. We got to bed last night, but it was a good time. And some people jumped in. One subscriber from Texas, another one from Jamaica, and were asking us questions. So that was a cool time. All right. I think what we're going to do. Agreed, Lala. Agreed. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for a quick break. And when we come back, we'll get into some stories like drones and a certain person saying, I don't think I can lower prices like I said I could. So we are going to be back in just a moment. So I'm going to take everybody off to run our.
As we enter into the holiday season, I would like to take this time to address something near and dear to my heart. As an international real estate agent since 2006, I've dedicated my career to guiding others through one of most life-significant journeys, homeownership. I've seen firsthand how informed decisions can transform lives, turning dreams into realities. But today, I want to address a deeply personal matter, one that has altered my life and the lives of countless others. Two beautiful souls, my beloved sisters, Azure and Valerie, were taken tragically from us by a drunk driver in January 2023. Their absence is a void that words cannot fill, a reminder of how fleeting and precious life is. Their laughter, their dreams, and their love for life were extinguished in a moment of reckless irresponsibility. I implore you from the depths of my heart, which is still mending, never to get behind the wheel while impaired. Driving under the influence is not just a poor decision, it's a lethal gamble with your life and lives of others. Each time someone chooses to drive drunk, they risk becoming the cause of an irreversible tragedy, much like the ones that took my sisters. In my profession, I emphasize the power of education and informed decisions. The same principles apply here. Understand the risks, recognize the consequences, and know that no destination or convenience is worth the price of a human life. There are always alternatives. Call a taxi, use a rideshare service, or stay where you are. It's a small choice that you can make to save lives, including your own. There are just too many options to make an excuse for drunk driving. Uber, Lyft, cab, friend driving you home. Just put the keys down. It's not worth it. Like buying or selling a home, life's journey is emotional and rewarding, but unlike a property transaction, some choices have no second chances. Please choose life, choose responsibility, and remember that every decision behind the wheel affects not just you, but families, communities, and future generations. With a plea for safety and a heart full of hope, I wish you happy holidays. May your home be filled with joy, love, and peace. I'm Laura Key, the Realty Goddess. Be the light.
There we go. Welcome back to Primetime. Are you wearing the Be the Light t-shirt underneath your onesie? Okay, yeah, that's probably none of my business. Will, I didn't ask that. Okay, Will. I didn't ask that. Will, that's edited from the show, all right? Final edit.
No, I will look. I will have a full outfit.
All right. So before we get into our as some people say, our tea today, check out Girlfriends Chat with Aisha LaLa and Jill Jones at Patreon. There's the link. Also, Primetime Saturday show store. I'm hearing some new stuff may be coming in. Is that true?
There is new stuff. You should show it. There's lots of new stuff. There's 8 new products of 2 designs I made. One is the Serenity line of products, focusing on peace, and the other one is the Black Joy line, and that focuses on the joy of Black people, how we're moving into 2025 with serenity and joy.
Okay, so what we're going to do next week is we're actually going to go into the store and have will showcase the store as part of next week's conversation. Yeah. All right. Join the Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. I am very active in the Discord group these days. Very, very active. So I want to make sure everyone checks it out. Also, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also, please like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. If you want to advertise on this platform or any of the platforms that I'm on and other people, they'll give you their contact information if you want to support them, as you should. And next week on December 21st, we're broadcasting live on the 14th. Ask us anything. We haven't done one in a long while, but what better way to end off the year with an Ask Us Anything? So Aisha will be here. Lala's going to be here. I've invited Dr. Tachi to see if she'll come on. And hopefully, maybe if she can behave. No, I'm just joking. Well, Miss Jill Jones, come on and join us. But put it, mark on your calendar.
I actually have to text her again and see.
Please do. We need a dose of Jill Jones before the end of the year.
Yeah.
That is a very important thing to get our dose of Jill Jones. All right. And one other thing I'm just going to do really quick. Okay.
Oh, there's one other thing, though. Before you do that, I forgot. There's going to be new merchandise in the store tomorrow, too.
Okay. There you go.
I'll give you the design for get someone else to do it.
Okay.
Putting that up tomorrow. Mm-hmm.
Since she's here, and especially because she's here, check out Indie Soup TV, otherwise known as Indie Soup Media. There is the link over between, I think, almost 30 independent content creators powered by our good friend Dr. Tachi. And 8 or 9 months in, at least 20,000 YouTube subscribers. What? Yes, 20,000.
You, Dr. Tachi.
What?
Very nice.
What?
Awesome.
What? And what a great thing. And she's just going to keep on making it happen with that. So with all that preamble done, what's going on with the drones over in New Jersey?
Well, it's not just New Jersey. They're finding them in the whole tri-state area. There were reports of them here in Connecticut. There were the reports of them in New York, and then also too, I was reading about Pennsylvania too. So what is up with the drones? Because I'm trying to figure out what this means. The fact that our government has no idea is a problem.
It's a serious problem.
Yeah.
Then I've heard mixed things. I've heard they found out that it's actually from China. I've heard that there's actually been someone who's been arrested for having, because it's a private drone, but none of this has been confirmed. We don't know what's true and what's not with this situation. It's a serious problem. But if you've noticed that no one else said it, I haven't heard anybody else say it but me. And I was holding off to this show to say this. The same day that these drones were caught, Facebook went down, and so did ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned, because I was using another software, and they had an outage because they said OpenAI or ChatGPT had gone down.
Yes,
right. There was a reason that ChatGPT had actually gone down, and I can't recall exactly what it was. But I was reading about it earlier that why did they say that it went down?
Well, the world freaks out when Facebook or anything else goes down. It's the craziest thing. People freak out like the whole world is going to stop.
Right. And I think that part of the there was they had an issue with it, as did and I think so did Meta have issues.
Yes.
And remember Meta, who was owned by Mark Zuckerberg. Remember, Mark Zuckerberg just as of Thursday announced that he was giving something like $1 million to Trump for something.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So these people are really capitulating to him. I thought it was it's funny because the OpenAI went down just as Mark Zuckerberg had made that donation, but now Zuckerberg, Bezos, and that's what it was. Zuckerberg, Bezos, and Sam Altman gave like $1 million or more each to help fund Trump's inauguration. That's what it was.
I did hear that. Yes, I did hear that. Yeah.
Zuckerberg, but Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and Bezos are teaming up to go after Altman and OpenAI. So I think that ChatGPT went down as a result of that feud.
Oh, y'all, I didn't hear that. So I'm actually hearing that in real time and I am disgusted.
Right, because ChatGPT is trying to shift to becoming a for-profit company.
That's right.
And if they do that, they will be in direct
Competitor.
Competition, yeah.
direct competition with Meta. But also remember, Elon Musk is trying to launch Gorka or whatever the AI is that he's going to be doing on Twitter, which is why I suggested everybody do their Twitter account, as I mentioned last week, because
Intellectual property.
right,
Yep.
because they will be trying to train he will be using your tweets and your past tweets to train his AI without having to pay you. So yeah, so it is a huge issue. And I'm wondering if this has to do with the drones, because it just, like you said, LaLa, it all happened at the same time.
All at the same time. Now, Aisha, last week you told.
I lost your volume.
Yeah, we lost you for a second. Unmute, LaLa.
Did that do it on its own? Because I
No.
didn't touch
So
it.
you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
What was my thought?
About
Last week you told us, Aisha, how to do the X thing, but I wanted to know, did you find a good free service to delete your tweets?
I did. I will have to go back and find the one that I'm going to use. I have to work with it and see how it does first, and how fast it is. And I plan on, actually, that's something else I plan on doing tomorrow. So I will definitely post in the Discord group, but I will also make that announcement on next Saturday during our Ask Us Anything show. Don't forget to ask me again, and I'll tell you how it went, how fast it was, and if I recommend that one or if I chose another one.
Okay, great.
But definitely
I'm struggling finding one.
Me too. But I what I did do was I got one from someone recommended it on I listened to Urban View on Sirius XM channel 126.
That's still on?
Yeah.
Wow, that's been going on for years.
Yeah, that channel. So one of the shows it was either Clay Kane or Larry Daniel Favors. One of them had mentioned, I think Larry said which one that she was using, and I was in the car and I had my daughter write it down for me. So she wrote it down and stuck it in my purse. So that's the one I'm gonna go investigate, because that's the one that she used.
Okay.
So also too, one of the things I'm learning is that with the Chat GPT, they also came up with an AI drone defense plan that would be in direct competition with Elon Musk.
You know who's going to get all the favorability
because Elon Musk has all those government contracts, and if ChatGPT can do that with the drones, AI powered drones, then not only would it be a technology maneuver, but it would also make them, and I think they're partnering with like a military hardware company or software company. And so if those two combine, they will be the direct competition of Elon Musk for those government contracts, particularly the defense contracts and all the stuff that he does with SpaceX. But remember, the military budget is the first one that they said that they want to cut. I don't think it's going to happen when he realizes how much of that.
Okay, I just want to interrupt. Dr. Tachi, you say you're backstage. I don't see you, so maybe I have to send you the link again. But Dr. Tachi looks like she's going to be joining us, but I don't see you backstage. So what I'm going to do is I just did something really So keep on chatting, ladies, for a moment. I think I'm going to have to.
But I think all this is
to be successful to be the first trillionaire. That's what's been promised to him, and that's what he's going for.
And he's going for it using tax dollars from America. That is That is the sick part. It's one thing, and these idiots, these unuseful idiots, look up to him like, "Oh, I can't wait to become as rich as him someday." Yeah, but he's using your. But meanwhile, he's making money off your tax dollars, and you're not complaining about your tax dollars, the majority of them going to his pockets, but you complain about the 2 cents that goes to help people who need public assistance.
Exactly.
Well, okay. So the thing too, also, so Dr. Tachi, I've sent you, I think, the correct link now. So take a look. But the thing is, Mr. Musk, and we got way off of drones, but we got to get back to it. Just that,
Mister.
But this is the drone conversation, though. I mean, I think that those drones have to do with might be the testing of them.
I do too.
Elon Musk now is his combined worth is more than Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett's combined.
Yeah,
of course it is.
Speaking of which, speaking who's with us, Dr. Tachi, you heard the word Elon Musk and you seem to wanted to jump in.
Come on in, come on in, shame the devil, shame the devil.
Hello, all. You know how I love to talk about the muskrat.
Yeah. There's even a song about that. Muskrat love.
Who sung that song?
Captain Antonio.
I just want to make sure. And okay, so here's another pop quiz. What were their real names?
I don't know that.
Captain
sorry.
Antonio.
Wasn't the captain's name David or something?
Daryl Dragon
No.
and Tony Tennille.
But actually, that was a remake. There was another band that did it first. They just redid it. That was a remake.
Was it the old Muskrat Love from like the 50s or so?
I think so.
Probably.
I'm going to look it up because now I need to know.
Me too. Like I'm sitting here like, here we go.
Okay, so Regina says when I was in South Korea, the Seoul, and actually their president got impeached today, by the way. When I was in Seoul, Korea, the Seoul airport delayed our flight to Cambodia for an hour due to drone activity over the runways. Wow. It could be China. Fitness IQ says, hello, howdy. And she says she loves Lala's Christmas. It's not a sweater, it's a onesie, believe it or not. It's a onesie. The onesies are back. And look who is long time, real Drango. And he has a drone emoji on the screen. Love it.
Muskrat Love was by Willis Allen Ramsey first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
It was done by Captain Antonio.
He wrote it and he wrote it and he recorded it, and Captain Antonio covered it in 1976.
Wow.
My husband thought that it was, when I was singing it one day around the house when we were young, my husband thought I made up that song. And when I told him that it was a real song, he didn't believe me and I had to go find it.
There you go. Muskrat Susie, Muskrat Sam. All right. All right. So, Dr. Tachi, how are things in your world?
Everything is good. I'm just trying to be. Minding my own black business. Just trying to be.
Yep.
That's all we can do. That's all we can do, Dr.
Yep.
Regina knows the muskrat. Love it. Okay. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Have to get somebody else to do it t-shirts. They're also going to have to get the other one, doing my black job and minding my black business.
Exactly.
Yep. I'm working on that.
Don't ask me to do anything.
Good.
Oh, God. So, Dr. Tachi, any thoughts about these drones?
Well, this is the whole interesting thing. When I heard about this, I'm like, okay, I need to dig a bit deeper and further. And it feels like somebody knows, but the majority don't know.
Right.
So right now it's in this limbonic, which is not a word, but I'm making it one. This
you always do.
State.
Every broadcast, there's a new word.
Yes. Dictionary coming out soon. So they're in this limbonic state right now where somebody certainly knows, but everybody doesn't. And to be honest, and maybe this is not a popular opinion, I know I saw that. Who was it? Was it the governor of New Jersey who wrote to Biden asking for answers? Well, damn it. I'm not trying to be funny, but does it make sense to tell you to cause mass panic and hysteria war of the world. Does that make sense right now?
Right.
So it could very well also be that they're not quite sure. So somebody may know, but maybe they're not quite sure. Before you open your mouth and you say anything, you better be 100% sure, because you don't want to cause mass hysteria. So I think there's a balancing act there between understanding what's going on and the public's right to know. Because in the past, the public hasn't behaved in ways that is fruitful to solving the problem. So you have to kind of monitor those things. That's what the hell you have people in charge for. That's why there's not, self-directed government and anarchy, because there are people, well, I take that back. There is anarchy, but this is why you have people in charge. So let them do the due investigation. Let them, and I'm not saying that they're not going to be 100% truthful or say what it is, but I think right now it's too early to be demanding answers when they may not even know.
Right.
Well, sometimes we don't need to know right now, period. Some things our government does have to keep quiet about. In this world of instant, I want to know, this is not the time. The government is not to tell you absolutely everything. That doesn't mean that, we don't ask our government for answers, but sometimes you just need to sit back and chill while things are being done.
Exactly. And then the thing is, now what?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with that information?
And here's the other part of it too, is that, understand this is happening at a time when our government is undergoing a transition.
Yeah.
The head of the FBI is quitting.
Yep.
So
he's gonna be
right.
out.
So there's instead of being like everybody else and waiting until he gets fired, he's like, no, I'm just gonna quit. Again, showing cowardice in our government, but also it's like whoever's doing it is doing it. They did it at the time, just after our FBI director announces he's quitting. And so I guess everything's in free fall and chaos, which what did we expect? We knew that this is what this administration was going to bring with it.
We knew it.
Since I know you all want to talk about the administration, I'm going to move on to the next story. Surprise, surprise. 45 says in Time magazine he doesn't think he can lower prices.
Oh, really?
You bitches are going to do this. This is the damn roosters coming home to roost. You idiots. So now we all have to suffer this bullshit from this liar. So now you're going to make excuses for this too. Oh, but it was such a horrible thing with Biden. No, bitch, this is his economy. And if anything good comes in his economy, it's going to be because of Biden. Y'all don't understand how our government works. But guess what? He fooled you again.
Enjoy those $10 scrambled eggs.
Yeah. Oh, and guess what? He also said that he is thinking about privatizing the Postal Service, which he said, and that he supposes he's going to run 2 terms unless Congress tells him, okay, you're okay, we'll have to do something else.
What did he say? What did he tell us, y'all? Wait a minute. What did he tell us? He said, you don't have to worry about voting again.
But the thing is that this has been in the works for a very long time, and we've been saying this. You dumb down the population so that they think you're actually a hero instead of the villain that you actually are. You do things like because again, let's go back to the whole No Child Left Behind thing, right? These children that weren't left behind are now voting age. Okay, so now you've successfully dumbed down an entire population so that you can tell them anything and they'll believe it.
Yeah.
And it's a prime position for you as an oligarch to take over. It's been in the works for a very long time. So even though it seems like it's to some people it's not related, it's definitely 100% related. This has been in the plans for a very long time. So congratulations, you've got it. I'm just going to drink my tea.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Dr. Tachi. I know that we all are doing that because I'm certainly in that area right now. But the problem is we all still have to suffer with this idiocy that they have believed in. That now we're all in the same boat. So that makes it that much harder for us who already knew that this was coming. And this is why we continue to tell you guys, you need to take action. You need to be watching what they're doing and doing the exact same thing that they're doing. You want loopholes? Stop complaining. Go figure it out where they're putting their money and where they're taking their money away. It's public knowledge. So you need to do the same thing because you need to take care of your own household because it wasn't your choice to be in this situation. It was theirs.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing, and this is why we're going to have this conversation about joy, because the only way, and I think the lesson that we learned the most from that 4 years is how miserable people are.
Yeah.
And how their misery is contagious. And the only way to combat that is through joy and peace and doing a lot of self-care and self-concern and paying attention and turning inward to ourselves and our community. Because the thing is that if we continue, if we try to engage too much, we are at a point where they will take and take and take everything that they can until we have absolutely nothing left. This means gatekeeping our culture. And we're going to really have to talk with younger generations about how to do that, because they keep wanting to put so much of our stuff out there on social media for viral moments to get popular, their 15 minutes of fame, and then believe that these appropriations by white people who they go to school with and they know are cool or whatever. Yeah, they're down or whatever. No, because guess what? They use your stuff, they do your little dances in front of you, whatever. But when they go home, their white parents and their white families are teaching them how to oppress you once you all become adults. And so there are certain things that we are going to have to do, because guess what? This, like I said at the beginning, we're not going to spend the next 4 years on this show the way we had to do the last time that he was president for 4 years. We've been doing this show for 7 years, and we're not doing this. We're going to talk about things that are concerning to us and our issues and our community, because having to deal with all that other crap, that's going to drive us crazy.
Yeah.
Exactly. And to your point of the commodification of culture, or the McDonaldization of our culture.
Right.
Yes.
It's I liken it to what they do in Africa. And I'm saying that as a whole. Let's say West Africa. One thing that they'll do is, there are tariffs on finished goods that come into this country, that come into Europe. So they'll go into Africa and take like cocoa beans, process them into their rubbish chocolate, and sell it back to us.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that they do with African American culture. You take the raw materials, which are the dances, you process it, and then you sell it back to us. I'll never forget when Melissa Harris Perry's show was on MSNBC, and she had some of the original creators of the Harlem Shake. So for those of you who know New York or are from New York, you'll remember the dance, the Harlem Shake. Well, it became in 2011, 2012, it became like a social media dance, but it wasn't the real Harlem Shake. So when I saw it, I'm like, what the hell is that? That's not the Harlem Shake. But it was a lot of non-melanated content creators doing it. It was a whole challenge. And I remember at the time I was teaching at Nova Southeastern University, and the president did the Harlem Shake. I said, okay. So I was happy to see Melissa Harris Perry get on and talk about the Harlem Shake, and had some of the original creators come on and actually do it on television. But there's not always going to be a Melissa Harris Perry to say this is actually what it is. So we have to start to be smarter about culture. Now, culture, I believe that culture is to be shared. I
Yeah.
love the sharing of culture. What I don't like is the stealing of culture and the commodifying of that stolen culture. And that happens way too often with people of color, and we're tired of it. So not only are we not going to help you fight these 4 years, that you're on your own. We've already done our job for hundreds of years. You're on your own. Not only are we not going to help you fight, you all figure it out. Fight amongst yourselves, fight to the death, whatever. We
Make
also,
your blue bracelets and go in the corner.
exactly, I could care less. I don't give two damns. So if that happens, whatever. But we're also not going to sit idly by while you continue to steal culture and commodify it, and we get nothing. So we have to be smarter, and we have to teach, like you were saying, Lala, our the younger generation to be smarter about it.
Yeah.
Okay, I
I
just
mean,
want to jump
Lala,
in. I
just
just want to
real
jump in. Go ahead.
just because I don't want to lose this thought, and it's directly related to what you just said about the Harlem Shake. As Gen Xers, we know what happens because the Cabbage Patch doesn't look the way that you see people doing it. These white people took that dance and made it look like you're churning butter.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it originally went. I remember what it looked like.
All right. Regina says, F around and find out, MAGA. She also says 2026 midterms will be a blue. Well,
I don't
that's if the Democrats get their act together. I'm not going to guarantee.
I mean, exactly, because don't forget, guys, now Nancy Pelosi is causing problems with AOC. Stop fighting amongst yourself. Damn it, get unified.
Nancy, shut up.
Problems with AOC right now because AOC got that position of power on the oversight committee, and Nancy Pelosi doesn't think that she should have it because she's too young. But here's my point. What we don't need are more 80-year-olds sitting in Congress still acting like this is the Congress of the 1970s and 80s when it is not.
Okay, I just want to jump in quickly again. Tony Benzino, who was with us earlier this morning, myself and Dr. Tachi. The election showed how many vicious, I think maybe vicious or vicious people in this country. Fascists, okay, in this country. Also, how no one knows how government works, and Real Django puts his hands up in prayer. I also, but I want to get back to this whole thing about he can't lower prices. So with his tariffs, Ed can't think lower prices. What's going to happen to America?
Baby, you preaching to the choir. You preaching to the people who already knew. This is the people you're talking to. You're talking to the choir. We've been singing this note from day one. So it's not us that don't understand, and it's MAGA. And nor do they want to understand it because they want to keep putting him as a savior.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is, amongst that battalion of fools, they're going to continue to have an external locus of control and blame everyone except the person who is responsible for it. So the tariffs will make things go up. They will blame Biden for the tariffs going up. Never mind, he said he's going to put tariffs outright. They hear what they want to hear. Many of them can't read anyway, so it doesn't matter. They hear what they want to hear. So they're going to blame someone else. So to be honest, I don't know what is going to happen. The prices will go up. And the prices will go up, and the top 1% will benefit off of that. And it will be the bottom and the middle that carry the brunt of the weight for this. It's not going to be good. And I almost don't want to bring this up.
Dude, bring it up.
And I'm sure you all are going to talk about this if you haven't. So United Healthcare.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to it.
Yeah.
Hold your thought.
I don't want to bring that up. I don't want to bring that up because I know you're going to get to it.
It's the next story.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
Okay, it's the next story. But I don't know, and I know Dr. Tachi and especially Aisha, especially political pundits. How come I didn't hear more about this statement in the media? Like I know 45 did an interview with a lady from NBC News, but this part I hardly heard anyone talk about it.
Well, I've heard it, but here's the problem. The media is not going to report on these things because they got what they wanted. look, he's as much president because of the people who voted for him, the people who sat home, and the media. But remember, the media, he was losing. The media went on this 3-week rampage over Joe Biden's age. Okay. And that right there gave him, notice he was quiet during that whole 3 weeks. That gave him an in. But beyond that, the media really wanted this man to win. And so this is in the Time magazine article where he's on the cover as the person of the year. But it got overshadowed by the fact that he was Time magazine's person of the year. So they promoted that part of it and didn't so much as say that he said he didn't think he can lower prices. And when you listen to the interview, he sounded like a toddler. Because
He
it's like,
sounds like a toddler.
yeah, because it was like, dude, well, I don't think I can. Well, I'd like to, but I don't think I can. So basically what he is doing is lowering expectations on himself because he knows how this is going to work. And he's trying to pivot. Who can he blame? But the people that vote for him, yeah, but the people that vote for him are just stupid because here you now have the government run by millionaires and billionaires, and a man who wants to be the first trillionaire who will be getting government dollars. Your prices are only going to go up, and they're going to get all the benefits. They're already launching Doge merchandise that they're going to sell and profit off of. Donald Trump has sold everything in the last couple of weeks, from guitars,
perfume,
to
perfume, cologne,
to that stench on his body.
Well, the thing is, this indicates that this country is for sale to the highest bidder. That's all that means. And they should absolutely 100% be ashamed of themselves. You have nothing to say now about any other regime, any other government, and any country that you deem to be either unfriendly to us or deem to have human rights abuses. Say nothing. Sit down and say nothing. Because the reality is, especially with this judge in charge, you've always wanted that. Now you have it. Congratulations. But the thing is, you have been operating under the guise of democracy. It's never really been a true democracy. Let's be honest with ourselves. This is the guise of democracy. So now that this guise starts to crumble, we'll see how people who thought they were living in a free and fair country fare under autocracy and dictatorship. You will see.
Well, I've always said it's a capitalist democracy, not a democracy.
But I think that these people also don't understand how much $1 billion is, and how hard it is to earn, because that's what they would have to do. Earn $1 billion if your parents can't hand you down money to begin with and put you in positions of power by virtue of their family money. And for some reason, that failure to understand how much that money is, how long it would take them, and how hard they'd have to work to get it, in their minds, they do believe that they can obtain it, that they can't attain it. And that is why they're against the rich paying their fair share in taxes.
Exactly, because they hope to be amongst that number one day, but you will never. And I'm not trying to be mean. The reality is that our system is not set up for you to be that, because the system thrives by having people on the bottom. And that's where they want the majority to support the ones at the top. So you are not the only way that you get to have wealth and build real wealth in this country is not by working for someone else. And the most people in this country work for someone else. And most people are taught, and there's nothing wrong with working for someone else. I'm not saying there is. Everybody, doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, but you've also been conditioned that everybody doesn't want to be an entrepreneur. You've been conditioned that business is not for everybody. Is it not really for everybody, or do they just want you to think that it's not for everybody?
Well, they obviously have to have somebody to help them get their billions.
Yeah,
so they're not going to help you get there.
Yeah, and they also have you thinking that just because someone has a lot of money means that they're good at business. Donald Trump has filed for bankruptcy 6 times. 6 different times he's bankrupted businesses, and he still has money supposedly, but people they overlook the bankruptcy and keep looking at the fact that he claims he's rich, or The Apprentice, which was manufactured wealth. And the funny thing for any of us, if we tried to get a bank loan for hundreds of millions of dollars, with 6 bankruptcies attached to us, we couldn't do it. How he does it and why banks keep giving this man money after he's shown he doesn't pay it back is insane. And these are the kinds of things that are making people angry with banks, with healthcare companies, insurance companies, with all these.
Well, we better get to the healthcare.
Before we do that really quickly. Yeah. So to what you're saying, Aisha, you remember, I don't know if any of you saw the, The Making of Anna Delvey that was on Netflix.
Yes.
So excellent series. And it was actually produced by Shonda Rhimes. So before I watched that series, I actually read I think the article was in Newsweek, if I'm not mistaken. It was a several page magazine article talking about how this young woman fooled everybody into thinking that she was the daughter of some wealthy person in Europe, and she had everybody fooled. Okay, and so the thing is, because of who she is, what she looks like, she was able to fool these people. Didn't have a dime to her name, but she was able to fool these people, and banks just gave her money. How much do you need, my dear? Would you like more?
That's right.
So it's the same type of thing, that there is less attention paid to certain people because of who they are, who they know, what the background supposedly is. And here's the thing, you can lie about the background if you look like them and still get money. But let us, who, even if we do have the ins to do this type of thing, there's much more scrutiny. And I'm not just even saying Black people. I'm saying the average, person. If you try to do that,
more than just being racist, this is also elitism.
Yeah,
absolutely.
This is very much so.
Very classist. It is very classist. And the fact that he says that he can't lower prices, he doesn't care. He does not care. Anyone who thought he did was stupid, because guess what? You know why he doesn't care? And he shows he doesn't care because he didn't select any one of those little peons running around trying to talk to people and convince people to vote for him, for his cabinet or in his administration. All he hired were people who were rich, people who supported him, people who defended him in court, or people that can nurture relationships he wants with other autocrats.
We're going to continue on the side because I just saw a lot of interesting comments. Real Django says the United States will just get more depressing with the issues just getting worse.
Yes.
He also says a 32-ounce jar of mayonnaise is around $8, and that says it all. Oh, and oxtail prices are through the roof.
Baby,
he's right though.
You hear me?
He's right though, because I wanted to make oxtails earlier last month, and they were high.
Okay, Regina says all the social media I'm on is talking about the grocery comment, and Fitness IQ Camp says who you know, as long as you have the right skin tone.
That's right.
But Real Django says, personally, I think grocery store prices are high because of the wages that have increased to hourly staff, just as fast food meals are higher because of higher wages as well.
Go ahead.
But that's a problem, because I don't even think that's it. Because here, for example, in Connecticut, we're supposed to get up to, right now, minimum wage is at $15 an hour. They're trying to get to 18, I think it's like 2028, right? So, 18 by 2028. So we're at 15 minimum wage. But you go someplace like South Carolina, Alabama, the minimum wage is like what, $7?
Yeah.
And the price of eggs and things at these grocery stores, particularly these brand things, are still the same.
Well, and let's not forget, y'all. Don't forget, Kroger is guilty.
Yes.
They know that they were guilty. They said they kept those prices high on purpose because they knew people were going to spend it. It had nothing to do with paying more people paying more at the checkout. It had nothing to do. It all was greed. We knew that if you had to have the eggs, so guess what? $8. There you go. $8, $8, $8. Who's gonna give me $8.25, $8.25, $8.25? All right, sold to an American.
Yeah. Well, here's the other part of it too, is that remember these prices, they raised the prices during the pandemic by saying there was a shortage in the supply chain. And they raised the prices then, but they also raised them because they knew people weren't going to go to stores in particular regions of the country that had, like our whole state was on lockdown. Okay. You could go to necessary places. And so things like stores and things were pretty much closed down. Right. And so the prices were going up. People were getting things delivered. The prices just never came down.
Nope.
After the pandemic
they will never come back to the prices pre-pandemic.
No, and that's what kills me, is because this man said just 2 weeks ago that he was working on trying to get gas to under $2. Now yesterday, day before yesterday, he says now he doesn't think he can lower prices. Dude, gas was never going to come down. And then also last week he was talking about, I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on drill, baby, drill. Stop talking in sound bites. It sounds cute.
See, really quickly to that whole thing, you have no control over oil prices. In case you didn't know, what you don't produce, you cannot control. So you have some reserves of your own, but you're getting them from the Middle East and Africa. They control those. Asia, the world market controls those, not you. So there's nothing you could do about that. So now you're talking about drill, baby, drill. Not that I expect him to be cognizant of this, because I know he's not, but that type of thing, the whole fracking, etc., that is the reason that there are earthquakes in Oklahoma, places that don't have fault lines, etc. So this has bigger implications than just the money. There are also these environmental concerns.
Yep.
Should I in Canada be praying for America?
You should be praying for yourselves, because this is going to affect you too.
I know.
Well, it's already going to affect you, because guess what? He's already out here lying on your prime minister.
Oh yeah, Canada's the 51st state.
He's already
Real Dangle says, "Oh yes. I've always said the grocery stores got used to high price items. I just know that prices won't come down because they like the money coming in." Of course, that says it all. And also to remember, a lot of these companies have contributed to him.
And that's why you have. Sorry, go ahead.
Canada and Mexico are about to become our enemies, because already he's out here lying on the leaders of those two countries, and they both have had to clap back on him for lying. So there's about to be some tension there. And I'm sorry, but that Mexican president, she's no joke. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
She told him, tell your people to stop using drugs.
and to the point, yes, that I've heard that before when I did I was part of the Dow Jones multimedia journalism boot camp back in 2014, and that was the thing, as we were doing our interviews and things, and that came up, and they were like point blank, listen, if the American appetite for drugs was not as strong as there would be no drug problem.
Right. And also too, the price, let's be very clear.
Smile, LaLa. Smile. It's great.
I think a lot of Americans have forgotten. No, but I think a lot of Americans have forgotten that the reason that our prices have gone up, it wasn't just the pandemic. We have to be very, very honest with ourselves of when this happened. After 9/11, all the way back in 2001, our prices within 2 weeks went to the oblivion, and they have not come back down on anything. And the fact is that we don't necessarily, people have been trying to explain it. And so they say, oh, it was just the pandemic. Oh, it had to be this president. It has to be that, or it had to be the housing crisis. There were so many things tied up in what George W. Bush did after 9/11, and we still haven't untangled them. And because Trump came, 8 years after Obama, because Trump came then and ended up being a worse president than George W. Bush, people kind of let him off the hook and not gone back to revisit how bad he actually was and how all these things that are happening now are a result of policies he put in place. He was responsible for No Child Left Behind, leaving behind tons of these American children who vote without education as adults. He was also the reason why gas prices went up $2. Gas prices went up $2. A lot of gas prices, particularly in the South, were under $1.10. And then they haven't gone back. So I think that we're going to have to revisit that if we're going to tell the accurate and true full story of price gouging in America in this century.
It's always under the Republicans, y'all. When are y'all gonna wake up? Y'all always say that it's us. But when you look at the true historical facts, which we all know y'all can't handle historical facts, it always falls under the GOP.
Yep.
You get a good budget from us when we are when we're running the country, and then you take all that claim. We fix your shit. We fix your shit. We fix your shit, and you get the benefit when you first come in, and then you blame us. I'm tired. You know, Dr. Vibe, you said to smile, but you know, I'm doing my very best to just keep my head above water about our country. This is so dangerous. This is beyond dangerous. I told y'all we're burning. We've been done burned. We're burning. We're burning down to.
So Lala, I think there lies one of the also challenges. You think it's your country, but the opposition doesn't think it's your country.
No, it's not.
No, but here's the thing: when you're guilty of robbing, raping, pilfering,
but that's
you're not going to take the blame.
Well, they're guilty, but first thing's to admit it.
Good luck with that.
That's why I said you're not going to take the blame when you know you're guilty of doing.
Well, they don't know they don't think they
do.
are.
Yes, they do. The same way they knew it wasn't the cost of eggs. These people know there are these things. They tell themselves these things because here's the thing: if they have to, even though they know it, if they have to admit it and state it out loud, they would have to admit that they were racist. They would have to admit that they are ignorant and stupid. They would have to admit that they're in a cult, and admitting things to yourself, even though you know things about yourself, two very different things.
Sounds like a heck of a lot of trauma.
Yeah,
it is, and it's a lot of trauma.
Welcome to the trauma country of the world.
And here's the thing: it's sad to say. I think the reasons people are so distraught by this is because you really have high expectations for something that was built, or some high expectations. But it follows that if you don't have high expectations, you won't be disappointed. They have shown us at every turn that this is who they are. And this has been since the inception of this country. Why? And we keep holding on to hope. No, well, this time they're going to change. They will not. If you don't hold such high, and it sounds terrible to say, but I don't really hold that high hopes for this country because you've shown me over and over that you are not worthy of me giving you hope. So it doesn't make any sense. And then also, if we go back further, how do you have high hopes for something that was started as a penal colony? Let's not forget the beginnings of this country. Right. People always talk about Australia, but they also forget here. You think the people who founded this country were fine, upright citizens that they won? No. Okay, so let's not forget that the way you start is often the way you finish, particularly when you are not interested in making changes.
Yeah. And I think that what you're saying, Dr. Tachi, is true too, because I think that's where a lot of this backlash at Black women is coming from as well. And when we say we're done and people are like, no, you can't do this. You can't, you know what? It's not so much that we're saying we're done because they're not hearing the part about we need to do self-preservation. What they're upset about is that we don't have high hopes or expectations of them anymore.
Nope.
Our expectations of them, specifically white women, are so low that they're not used to people saying, you all as a group, individually, whatever, but as a group, you have shown us that you can't be trusted,
Nope.
that you're trash when it comes to talking the talk and walking the walk, and that you know, we figured out you say things one thing in our faces and you do something in the back, and we are like, okay, no more, no more.
And
And you're
that's where the oh, but I voted for such and such, and I
yeah,
was, don't tell me that, I don't care. Well, at
yeah,
this point we don't care. It doesn't matter. So actions are what are going to matter. So don't
yeah,
tell me what you did and how disappointed you are. Go do something about it, because we've already done our work and we're not doing anything else. So
yeah,
you go fix it.
yeah. Don't tell
And
me
the
that
thing
you
is,
did it
I've
when you
actually
didn't
had
talk to
someone
Lima and
tell me,
Outbag and Uncle Buddy about their votes.
Yeah, no, listen, you
Well,
cannot bamboozle us anymore. We're
Right.
done. We may have been in the past because listen, and I'm just going to say it. I don't know anyone who tries to keep community more than Black women do. I don't. I don't know it. Other people take our lead, and I'm just going to sit here and say it. That's not saying that other people are worse, because the moment you start trying to say what we do, there's always somebody around the corner say, well, what about, oh, how very all lives matter of you. Shut up and listen to what we're
right,
saying for once. Just
Right.
shut up and stop talking. What we're saying is, to me, there is nobody that has always pulled and always been the cheerleader for everybody, every group.
And
Anytime
never get
anything
back.
happens to any group, we're there marching. Palestine, we're there marching. And then you showed us, well, we really don't care about you. We just needed your body for the cause. Oh, no problem. Go to hell. This is what we're all saying now. And now you want to cry because we told you to go to hell. Well, here, let me give you some accelerant on your way down. That's the way I feel right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's
Lala,
exactly
do you want to
what
add
it was.
anything?
I just, the here's what bothers me. I have actually been told by someone that, it's very concerning that you want, like, people are now shunning me for my political views. Bish, yes, we're shunning you because you believe the lies, and now you expect us all to suffer for what you've done. If you choose to believe the lies, don't tell me that I don't have a right to question you. Because let me tell, as I said before, and this is what I mean this in my heart of hearts. Listen, there used to be a time where we could disagree about politics, but see, we could live through what it was. We know Reagan economics and the trickle down bullshit. We knew all that, but we got through it. Okay, set up a lot of things. But this election is a different level. It is a different beast. This is a new kind of zebra that we ain't never seen before. And the fact that they are going to do everything they can to strip this country of any resource or any power that they had, all for their own pockets. This is not just because we have a difference of political opinion. This is now people, billionaires, who are running this country, who have you fooled into sleeping lowly that you can be just like them. I have a problem that someone wants to questionize me, because I no longer want to deal with you because of your policies. You
Right.
have done the worst ultimate thing. You might as well have just taken me out and lynched me. Yes, I said it. You might as well. Because what the fuck are you saying about me behind my back? You've now said it out loud. I can't trust you. You can't be in my circle. And I'm not
And I
going to
think
fix it.
that's the part too. Is that you say, look, there's an erosion of trust here, and they want you to separate them. Here's the thing: if you try to tell them, hey, you shouldn't really vote for this guy because he's bad. Well, don't tell me who to vote for. Wait, that was you trying to separate them from their vote, right? But
Yeah.
when you tell them, hey, I can't be down with you, and they're like, well, why can't you separate me from my vote? I tried. You bit my head off. you did not want to separate from your vote for that man. So I have to separate myself from you.
From you.
Period.
But you know what? It's the same thing as at 100%, Aisha. But it's the same thing as people that hold argument of can you separate an artist from their art, right? The whole thing of you look at Roman Polanski, you
Yeah.
look at Woody Allen, you
Look
look
at
at
R. Kelly. That's another one that people really still had trouble separating from.
right, R. Kelly, and you're like, oh, but they're musical geniuses. I'm sorry, but their lifestyle informs their art. And if I support them, I am directly using my money to support their debauchery. So you
Right.
cannot support someone, I mean, separate someone from their vote. You
No.
just like you cannot separate someone from their art. So to me, that's a bogus conversation. And whenever anybody brings that up, I'm like, all right, so if I buy R. Kelly's music, I am funding the lifestyle of that cult that he's why is it so hard for you to see?
And that's
Not
what
only
I'm saying.
funding
Because
it,
when
it's
I'm
like,
all
yeah,
in,
remember the songs
I'm
are about
all
kids.
in. When I'm in, I'm all in. When I tell you Walmart will not get another penny from me, they will not get
Never.
another penny from me. When Roscoe's Waffle and Chicken will not get another penny from me. So I'm dead set on trying to find out who's good, who's not, and where my money is going to go to. Home Depot? No, just found out Lowe's. Guess I better go find somewhere else to get my stuff for my house because you're not getting my black dollar.
Absolutely.
So Real Dango says exactly trash. He also says, "Ha, we've been bamboozled."
Mhm.
And Tony, you may want to watch last week's episode because she asked, "What is the solution? How can African Americans taking care of themselves and family during the new regime?" We had a whole conversation about that, I believe, last week. So if you want to catch the replay on that, but Dr. Tachi wasn't here for it. So Dr. Tachi, what are your thoughts? What, from your lens, what is the solution on how African Americans taking care of themselves and family during this new regime?
Well, part of what I've already been saying, we're not concerned about about you all as a whole. We have to take care of ourselves because for the past hundreds of years, we have been concerned about everyone else but ourselves, and we have suffered mentally, socially, financially for it. And nobody should fault us now for wanting to do these things. So again, this is the thing is I love the unabashedness of things popping up. There is uh, an account on Instagram and also on TikTok called Shop the Hood. And so every
Yes.
week, yeah, she's great. I actually won 2 things on her show. So yeah, it was some pajamas, some HBCU pajamas and something else.
Pajamas and onesies again? Oh my gosh, is that the theme of the today's show?
It
Onesies
is.
and pajamas? Oh
But
my
there,
gosh.
it's great because I've seen there are so many Black entrepreneurs, right? So I've seen a lot of this rise of pride in telling people to this is where we're going to shop.
Right.
It's unfortunate that it took something like this for that to happen, but I think we've always been interested in doing it, and we had other alternatives, and so we just kind of it doesn't matter. You just kind of turn a blind eye, and so like the whole Walmart. I never shopped at Walmart. That's trash store for me. Never. But there are people who did. So now it's a question of when this is what I'm going to fund. Not only am I funding somebody who is that would be contributing to my own oppression, I am also funding anarchy. I am also funding lawlessness in government when I do these things. So it's a huge thing. So I think many people are looking at how can I do this. So I would say that to say, really looking at who in our community, and it's not just about Black, even though we're saying this, it's also about if you're Black and you supported that regime, you're also on my list that I'm not going to support you.
Right. Right.
So
and
it's
that's why
looking
we
at,
talked about the marketplace last week.
say again.
And that's why we talked about the marketplace last week that we're going to work on.
I just heard that when I watched the replay back. I'm so interested in that. It's awesome. So yeah, I think it's about really also pooling resources. The whole rubbish of we can't get together, we can't work together is rubbish. We
It
have
is.
to work together at this point. So I think working together and with communities, we need to focus on us. But I think if there are communities who are also committed to the side of right and making sure that, you know what, you all have done a lot. We want to take up the mantle and do other things. And we also want to support you working with people like that. I'm all about small businesses that are on the side of right and businesses of color that are on the side of right. Because again, just because you are skin folk does not mean you are kinfolk. So I'm also looking to see what you support. We have a
That's right.
lot of work to do. We've just been shopping blindly all of this time. So now we have to put our money where our mouth is and actually shop responsibly, right? So I think that's one thing, one small part when it comes to economics of how we can move forward. Also building that legacy and stuff for your family, and not just for your family but the community. Part of the problem is that we have become very individualistic. That is a Western trait, and
Yeah.
of course it follows when you live in a Western society, you will start to adopt some of those things. Now on the whole, I think that people of African descent are still very collective, but we are also still about mine. We have to
Very
stop
much
that.
so. Very much so.
Yeah, I agree. I
Anyone
agree.
want to add to what Dr. Tachi has shared? And for people who want to get Lala and Aisha's thoughts on what needs to be done forward, go to the YouTube page of Dr. Vibe. The replay is there. And that was the only topic they chatted about during that show. That was it. So it was so very few times we do a conversation about one topic. That was one of them. So that's the whole show. They went in on it. So fantastic. All right. Dr. Tachi,
Mm.
you brought this subject up a few moments ago, and I think it's still living, and it's still a lot of things followed on it. The American public's response to the murder of United Healthcare Group CEO Brian Thompson. Who wants to go in on that?
I do, because here's what's very interesting about this. We are now actually seeing the public fight back. Now, yes, someone lost their lives. We understand that. But you're also talking about a man who held very many lives in his hands and didn't give a flying cahoot fuck pig about anybody. He didn't care. He was looking for his company bottom line. And to show you just how much United Healthcare even cared about it, they hurried up and put somebody in and had his job filled the next day. So there are truths coming out about the insurance companies that we are paying into and getting denied for. He purposely denied people. He had protocols put into place to not pay for people's illnesses that they desperately needed in order to even live. And so they're not the only ones. So now we see that the public is like, no, we're not sorry anymore. We're paying so much money into this healthcare system, and you're not even helping us when we need it. It's not like we're asking for an aspirin every day. But when you have cancer or a terminal illness, and you're denying people quality of the best of quality of life in the end, what makes you think that we're going to have any kind of compassion for what you're doing to us? We're seeing a mini uprising. I don't think that this is going to get any better. And they're calling themselves fighting back, because there was a Florida woman who was talking to her insurance just this week, or right after this incident happened, and they denied her something, and she said what was put on those bullets, what was denied, something, disposed, and they called the FBI and had her arrested. They don't want the people to have the power. They only want the one-sided story. This is not the end of this. You are going to see more of this. If you didn't think that you were going to see more of this, why do you think they pulled all the CEOs down? They have none of them listed anymore at all. And United Healthcare had nerve enough to write their employees and say, you must now sign this form saying that you will not speak against our company.
Yeah, and here's the other thing too with that is even more sad is the fact that not only are people having to fight them for wasting time out of the little limited time that they have left, trying to fight them to get more time in their lifetimes. But the other part of this is that we are facing an administration that now wants to privatize Obamacare and public health assistance like Medicaid, Medicare, all of that, right? They want to privatize it, which means if they are able to do so, everyone will be subjected to that nonsense. And especially people who can't afford any kind of healthcare whatsoever. It is a shame. It is a shame. They not only want to privatize that, but then they'll go along with it and privatize Social Security. So here we have our seniors who worked their entire lives unable to get the healthcare that they need and unable to, and basically somebody's taking their earnings and gambling with it in the stock market.
And putting it in
Exactly.
their pocket. They're getting the bonuses. It's no different with Spotify. It's no different when these other companies, they're doing the same thing, taking people's money that they have earned and worked hard for, trusting into a system that if something should happen to them, that they're going to be taken care of, and they're putting it in the CEO's pockets.
Right.
And they're essentially gambling with it because, yeah, they're using it to invest and do other things with it to make it grow. Many of these companies are publicly traded. United Healthcare just happens to be very large, and I happen to work now, obviously, with healthcare because my mother had a home healthcare agency. So for years, since I was how old was I? I think I was 12 when she started it. So the whole thing is it's a process of billing, and some of the clients that she had were through insurance companies.
Mhm.
So the whole thing is there's a whole process of billing getting denied. So then it takes more resources for you to resubmit and all. So it's basically a game. So from what I understand, and I don't know, I think I came across this somewhere, but I need to dig a little bit more into it. If I'm not mistaken, United Healthcare also has some sort of finance company.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what was happening is this finance
They're
company, they
buying
were
up the
offering
doctors.
loans, right? So
Mhm.
the loans, they're denying, and that's their thing. So they deny, and if you're a doctor, it's different from like a home healthcare agency or a larger healthcare company. If you're a doctor, you often most often have like a smaller practice, and so you are getting stuff denied, but you only get paid when they pay the claims. So what happened is they offer these loans to the doctors so they
Yes.
can do that. But here's the thing. If I keep denying you, this means I can keep charging you interest on the loan that I gave to you.
Right.
What
Yes.
kind of satanic practice?
Yeah. And then they were buying out the doctors' businesses when
They
the
were.
doctors couldn't afford it and say, "Hey, you could still have a job being a doctor, but I'm
But
just
we
gonna
just don't own
I'm
the
gonna
house.
buy your building and you'll just pay me rent, or I'll buy your practice and you can just work for me." And then and then at the practice that they owned, they were denying claims for people that they were insured.
Yes.
It is twisted. It is twisted how they do things in healthcare. And it's like healthcare, at the least, people are most vulnerable when they're unhealthy. The least it should, I mean, as a moral issue, healthcare should
Oh,
not be
baby, ain't no
monetized.
morals anymore. Ain't no morals
No,
in this country.
So
no.
the only ones that are really, supposed to abide by that, quote unquote, are the healthcare workers. Therefore, these companies think they're exempt from things like the Hippocratic oath and do no harm. Oh, well, that's not us, that's them, right? So that's part of the problem. There is a lot of money in illness. We know
Yep.
this. There is a lot of money in debilitation in this country. You look at other healthcare systems, and there's not this fervor to profit off of the ill. Here, there's that fervor to profit off of you being ill. And to the point, it's not enough for me to make profit. I then deny so you can't get well.
That's right.
It,
Because
it's
because
it's
sick
very
people are desperate people.
they are sick people, and sick people will basically do anything. So come bringing this back to the United Healthcare thing and people seeing him as a hero of sorts. It's almost I liken it to this. Let me finish that thought. People get tired of being the underdog and they cheer for someone who is trying to quote stick it to the establishment. And again, it was sad, and I am not advocating for that, but you have to, people with critical thinking skills will understand that this is the result of something. Things do not happen in a bubble. This is the result of something. And I was talking about this with a colleague of mine from Howard who came on Mediascope on Wednesday. And so we were talking, this is one of the stories we talked about. And I said, I liken this to, for example, the death of the Queen. Uh, when she passed away, there are a lot of people that were like, oh, well, the same thing with this CEO. Because for years, the royal family has fleeced countries in Africa,
Yes.
has fleeced countries in Southeast Asia. They have not just fleeced the countries, they've been murderous and everything in between. They are absolutely the worst. And so now you are expecting people that are citizens of places that you brutally colonized, and even the average Brit, to feel sorry because that's what I liken this to. So it's sad because obviously someone passed away, but if you expect me to come to the services with flowers, that's probably not going to happen, because what about all the thousands that you slaughtered in the Middle Passage? What about, and you were there during colonization. So this is not like ancient history. Queen Elizabeth was there during all this colonization. My mother was there when they came to Nigeria and they had the flags when the Queen came to visit. That's absolute rubbish. It's not your country. So it's that same type of spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse, because here's the thing: the very people who think that Trump is going to do something for them, they're going to see bureaucracy like they haven't seen it ever, and they're going to get mad. Look, the worst thing, it's actually the worst thing that can happen to Trump is actually the best thing that can happen to us, is that his people start to revolt against him.
Now, is that possible though? He's their hero.
No, it is, because
It
what
is
happened.
when they start losing things. It's one thing when you have those things and you don't want other people to have them, but when you start losing your things, you start losing your mind.
And let's face it, anytime you mess with, I hate to say this, but it is true, y'all, historically true. Anytime the Wahites start losing they money, they ready to jump off bridges. Now, that's one thing about us and our resources. We know how to scrape together something. One little piece of ramen noodle will feed 16 people in our house. If we have to go out in the backyard and pick turnip greens. Okay?
Listen, like Jesus and the 5 fish
Man.
and 5 loaves of bread, we will break that up and feed the entire wedding party.
And be happy. And be full.
Look,
but you're going to see more and more people lose their minds because they don't know how to deal with this type of thing.
Right. Look, I was listening. Someone was saying online that their sister MAGA head, and told them that she was going to go and that Trump's going to end Obamacare, so she was going to go sign up for the ACA before Trump got in office and ended her Obamacare, even though she voted for Trump. And her sister said, I had to tell her ACA and Obamacare are the same thing.
Same thing with an interview that I saw today about a man, I believe it was in Montana, who was talking about, how everyone, he's a cow farmer. He does dairy.
And the farm has to go on 24 hours a day. Someone is always working, milking the cows, moving the cows, feeding the cows, cleaning the cows, blah, blah, blah. And almost all of his workers are immigrants. He truly says, oh, no, he's not going to do that because he knows that we're not even going to have food if he rounds up all these people. He's not going to do that to us. Okay. Didn't he just tell you that the prices again? He ain't going to change the prices. So what's next?
Guess what? And guess what? He doesn't care about you farmers being able to produce food. Guess what he knows? Most of our food that we get comes from China and all these other places anyway. So of course he'll take from you. He don't care.
In his mind, food comes from the grocery store. So I think, we are not dealing with somebody that's
store.
very bright.
No, but in his mind, food comes from that assistant who goes to get his McDonald's.
Exactly. Oh, and I wanted to say, because to this point that you talked about before, Aisha, the fact that, damn it, and I just lost it. But you were talking about something before, and I wanted to make a point. Oh, the fact that about keeping the people on the bottom so that they're on the top, and how you were saying something about like the CEOs. The reality is the CEOs of these companies don't do the majority of the work. It is the people, they are figureheads. So to the day-to-day operations, they know nothing about. It's everyone else that works with them that knows things. So the whole thing is the people that are at the top, like this muskrat, he is not the brightest person in the box at all, but he has other people around him that do this work. Yet he's this darn near trillionaire, right? So it's I think the American people, I hope this will make them see, number one, just how valuable they are in the equation when it comes to these the heads of companies and the CEOs, and the fact that they are the ones doing the work. We've known for years. Like, I watch people, I'm like, what do you do? Why are you here? We've seen, we've all worked in places where like, you're completely useless. You are the weakest link, goodbye. We've seen that, but nothing ever gets done. But I think now enough is enough for people. Yes. Yes. I think it's enough now.
Oh yeah, and I think that what you said too, to that point, it not only is Elon Musk has people around him. The reason you know why Trump keeps going into bankruptcy is because he doesn't listen to those people around him. Whoever told him that Trump steaks was a bad idea, he didn't listen to him. He just decides, oh, I want my own steaks. I want my own my own airline company. I want my own board game. I want my own college.
There's nothing. It's always about him.
It's always about ego for him.
Cologne.
Who would wear that? Yeah.
I swear to God, if it smells half as bad as what people say that he smells like,
I know it smells like hopelessness and pickles.
I think it smells like bologna, hot dog water, and Musk.
And using a picture of him with Jill Biden at the reopening of Notre Dame to promote it.
Yeah.
Oh. And she was like, we did not take this picture together.
Okay, so just to catch up on comments, Real Jangle goes, whoa, that is crazy, Tatiana. Michelle Hayward says, this is how we know Jesus was black.
Right.
She also said, I know she said something earlier on. She said, yes, it's an entire mess with the U.S. healthcare. Even doctors will have to pay back money 2 years later if the U.S. government changes policies. Oh, boy. And she goes, ain't nobody feeding that many people with 5 loaves of bread.
No, we're about
and Dr. Tachi goes, exactly, Michelle. Real Jangle goes, ha. And Real Jangle goes, yes, Black Jesus. Yeah, the healthcare system is a mess.
Well, this is what and I'm sure LaLa, you probably, as a expat and travel person, you probably will see this. We're going to see an awful lot of medical tourism for the people who can actually afford to do that, because it will be cheaper to go to Turkey and get
Canada.
or Canada
And Turkey is already advertising it. They started with the dental industry with the implants.
Mhm.
They have all these excellent doctors now in these countries. They will advertise you in a heartbeat. Why are you going? Why are you going there? Come on over here and put it in a package where
Yes.
here's your package. We're gonna put your air flight in here. Here's where you're gonna stay. You're gonna get the procedure done. You're gonna stay here. We're gonna follow up, and then we'll fly you back home.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's a whole
I like that's
package.
the new business, because I think that's the new business we need to get into for medical real estate.
Yep.
Ooh.
Absolutely. Listen, and the whole thing is, when it's being done, it shows that you don't have to fleece people in order to, do right and then to still make money. People are going there, even, they've been going over there for like procedures, for all sorts of procedures. Obviously, plastic surgery and things are very popular in Turkey, etc. But there are other, things where they've been told, here it's going to cost X amount, and people, I can't afford that, and insurance is not going to pay for it. So they go ahead and they'll go to places like Turkey. So you inadvertently, congratulations, stupid regime, because you now inadvertently have driven your biggest moneymaker into the arms of other countries. Congrats, you did a great job. Good for you.
And the other part of it too is that Americans believe way too much in American exceptionalism, and then people show up stupid. Because here's the thing: we can't sit here and believe that we have the best doctors in the whole world, and nobody else's medical stuff could match ours just because it costs less.
Right.
But my thing is, have you looked at who the doctors here are? They come from other countries. I mean, let's use a
good
little
point, Dr. Chachi. And same in this country, same in Canada.
They come from other countries.
Well, here's the thing: I'm kind of nervous about getting older and having doctors now who don't know how, who are young adults now who don't know how to put their phones down. I mean,
and who can't write cursive.
In the middle of doing a procedure on you, has to go and check TikTok.
Oh, wow.
It shows, you're absolutely right, because it shows the attention span. I mean, I would hope that they have that, but the fact that they are used to things changing every 5 minutes, will you have someone who has the attention span to do those things? Well, if we're talking, this is why we'll see a lot more medical tourism, I have to say, because the thing is, if they crack down on the H1 whatever visas, if they start cracking down on those things, and we look at other cultures where, phones are pervasive, but there's also a cultural respect and cultural excellence. So they're going to
governments are banning social media platforms.
Exactly. So they're going to have the attention span to do that X amount hour surgery. But if they're being banned from coming in, which, that's all debatable, we'll see people like, well, then we'll come to you, and it's going to be cheaper.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
Another potential business startup, medical travel. We got an international real estate agent on the line, so there's some
Lala, we'll have to talk about that, because medical tourism, I think, is going to be the next thing.
I think so too.
Absolutely. It's such a big problem. Of all the problems that we have here, the lack of healthcare is the biggest one.
Wow.
And it's tied into other things. Obviously, it's tied into the terrible food that we happen to have here, which causes
it's a slippery
slope. Can I end that phrase, medical tourism?
What
happened?
I said, can I end that phrase?
Get out of bed. Go research it.
Yeah, go research and see if it's I mean, it's already in use, but I don't know if anybody's trademarked it. Take a look.
There's none of you people in the audience, stay out of this. Thank you. Well, and it's interesting. It's I just took a look. I'm looking at this site. 13 top countries for medical tourism. And this is a story from May of this year. Number 1, Costa Rica.
Oh, by the way, all those white women that like to get their BBLs in Mexico, but y'all want to return everybody back. Guess what? They start doing that. You're not going to be able to get into the country.
Nope.
There you go. So, and I'll just read briefly this.
He's got
This
to
says,
do it with flat ass.
Costa Rica has really made a name itself for medical tourism. According to the country's Minister of Tourism, about 6 to 8% of its tourists come specifically for medical procedures. So this is the author of this website. From my perspective, Costa Rica's appeal isn't surprising. It's not only about the cost savings, which are substantial, but also the quality of care. The nation boasts a literacy rate of over 94%. And a health system that outshines even the U.S. as per the World Health Organization.
That means, even the U.S. We have terrible healthcare here.
That means highly skilled, often Western-trained doctors are the norm here. Dental tourism is particularly popular in Costa Rica. Patients often combine medical treatments with a vacation, enjoying the country's stunning beauty. They receive dental treatments at costs significantly lower than the U.S., Canada, or Europe. Costa Rican dentists are highly qualified and many are trained in the US or Europe. The dental technology they use is on par with global standards, including prostheses and implants sourced from reputable US companies. Costa Rica is also known for its excellence in more complex procedures like spine and orthopedic surgery and neurosurgery, all offered at world-class facilities. Without a doubt, it's one of the leading countries of medical tourism. I'll just list some other countries on this website. Singapore.
Oh, yeah.
Believe it or not, Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've been known for years.
Yeah.
Thailand.
Well, remember, too,
Yes.
a lot of people have died from the U.S. going to get those backroom procedures from Mexico because they're cheaper here. And what's going to end up happening is that people are going to start seeing more reputable, I think.
They also have Colombia, South Korea, Malaysia, India, Hungary, Brazil.
The only problem with getting any of this stuff done during the Trump administration is that you might not be let back in the country.
That's okay.
And from this website also says which country is the cheapest for medical tourism. India and Thailand are often considered the cheapest countries for medical tourism. They offer a wide range of medical services at significantly lower costs compared to Western countries. It says, though, which country is best for heart surgery. The United States and Germany are highly regarded for heart surgery thanks to their advanced medical technology and highly skilled cardiac surgeons. Which country is the best for free medical care? The UK, Canada, and Scandinavian countries like Sweden and Denmark offer excellent free public health care. Which country in Europe has the best medical care? Germany and Switzerland provide some of the best medical health care in Europe thanks to their advanced healthcare facilities and expert medical staff.
How does Canada end up paying for their medical care? Because the argument that the U.S. has and that people have bought into is that we just can't afford to do it. And to me, that doesn't. Other countries offer free medical care, so to me, it doesn't seem that is the problem.
Well, now for many years, Canada was, you pay that taxes like in the province I live in here, they have something called OHIP, Ontario Health Insurance Plan. So you pay through your taxes to get these things. Now, slowly but surely, privatization is coming in. But as I said earlier on in the conversation today, I go to my doctor every month. I don't pay. I don't pay to get my checkups. I don't pay. I had an MRI done a few months ago on my back. I didn't pay a cent.
See, and that's why in this country, people I just can't do it then. So you go without critical health care because you can't afford it. I remember when I tore my ACL, thank God I tore it before I left the university because I still had health insurance, but I had an MRI and I still owed like $300. I was like, $300? Do you know how long I've been paying? And I never use my health insurance for anything. Right. That was the first time I ever had anything happen. And so then I'm like, and I ask you after 10 years to just pay for this, and you still, the only way they would pay for it is if you maxed out meaning you went to the doctor so much that you ended up maxing out. So they want you to be sick in this country. It's terrible. There's nothing anybody can tell me to convince me otherwise.
Otherwise they wouldn't charge you for preventative care.
Exactly.
And that's the
That
biggest problem that we have in this country is that we can't go get checkups. Like you just said, Dr. Vibe, you said you went and got your checkups. We can't go get checkups without incurring a cost. And the
Not
thing is
here. Yeah.
that the
Not
minimum
here.
doctor's visit,
Not,
just an office visit, is
yeah. Well,
like
yeah. Well, that's what I'm
$200.
saying. That's what I'm saying. I know times will probably change, but I'm taking advantage of it while I can. And like I said, every time I go to my doctor, before I leave, I already have my next appointment, and it's more preventative. I have some things going on, but I don't have to worry about, oh, I gotta pay to come in. No, I go every month. I take advantage of it while it is there. Like I said, MRIs, other procedures, I haven't paid anything for.
and
Yeah.
see
And all
the
this
whole
fragmentation of our medical care and our healthcare system in this country also leads with another problem that I find I have all the time is your doctors are not talking to each other.
right.
Because it's like I have an issue that requires three different doctors, right? For this to help this one issue because there are different things with it. So I need a nutritionist. I have a gastroenterologist, my primary doctor, and a surgeon. And do you know that they are not talking to each other? Each one's
Yep.
telling me different things, and I am having to go back and say, no, you need to call this doctor and this doctor and talk to him and him because at some point this has to be taken care of. But it's like and it's almost as if they're afraid to talk to each other.
Okay, we'll take
Or
one
I
more
don't want
comment, then
to hear,
close it off.
I don't
Anyone
want
else want to add? Because I think in the new year, I think we need to have a whole show about the medical crisis.
yeah, we do.
Because I think not only from and hey, just from my lens, I think most of the people in the medical profession are good, but I think they are taxed and strained. Like even in our country here in Canada, there is a shortage of doctors. There are a number of people I know that do not have a family doctor, and it's
Yeah.
part of it is that they don't want to go, but part of it is it's the doctors are full capacity. They can't take anybody else. So
Yeah.
I think having a conversation in the new year about the medical crisis, supply and demand, and again, as you said, Dr. Tachi, other things come in play. The way the food we're pushed to eat or marketed to eat doesn't happen, doesn't help the whole. It's a whole. I think we call it the medical crisis ecosystem. That's
Yeah.
what you call that conversation.
Mm.
All right. I know it's not been a crazy good conversation at times, but last conversation piece, choosing joy and peace in 2025. What are each one of you going to do to choose joy and peace? And some of it you've expressed here today, but anything else you want to add to choose joy and peace in 2025?
Let me tell you something that happened last night. You know, sometimes when you're feeling down and sometimes things are heavy. I've been very vocal about my problems and issues and frustrations about my sister's cases. And what pushes me forward is hearing my sister's voices in my head. But I tell you, last night, my husband and I sat down and watched the Jamie Foxx comedy special. And it was so powerful of him telling his story and how he overcome and how he had to just step out on faith. And to see him talk about coming from being paralyzed to coming out on the stage and performing with his daughter, it gave me more hope in pursuing joy. Music is my joy. It always has been. It always will be. Why? Because that's what I was born to do. So therefore, I am stepping into that power. And in order for me to even be good to anybody else, I have to be good to myself. So for me, I am looking forward to a year of more music and more learning and more being able to kick back and have some laughter in my day because far too long I have not had laughter every single day. Now I'm looking for something to laugh at and with my husband every single day. You have to find your joy. There is joy around you, even in silly little things. Even a child playing with a toy can give you joy. So you have to search for the simple things that bring you joy, and that's what I plan to do.
Yeah.
Who's next? Or if
I
anybody.
actually went back and watched because I was trying to think of, where did people, because all of a sudden it was like the day after the election, the joy that people felt just left very quickly. So what I did this week was I went and I rewatched that first night of the DNC and when they did the roll call, because that joy was contagious. Everybody felt that. And one of the things I've noticed is that Black people, specifically Black women, have pivoted to choosing themselves and choosing joy in the next year. But white liberals have gotten on the misery bandwagon. And so pointing fingers, pointing blame, blah, 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 blah. But I think joy, in the article that I wrote for Medium this week, it's called Bringing Joy into the New Year, Reflections on 2024 and Hopes for My Community in 2025. One of the things that I said there specifically is that joy is a choice. It's a deliberate choice. It is something that you have to choose every day to look for, to feel, and to maintain. And for me, I think that maintaining joy this year is about going after things that, I've always wanted to do and just have pushed this away. And so I'm going to say this one thing out here, and just because I need everybody's prayers for it. But I decided, I was like, what is the one thing that I always wanted to do? I always wanted to get a doctorate in American Studies from Yale University. Yale American Studies and African American Studies, because I really want to write about music and look at race in music. And so I applied. I hit the final button this week. All my recommendations are in. Everything's there. And I'm just waiting for February and March. And I was like, this is the one thing that I think I want to do. And I kind of got a sign on that because someone that I met when I was in graduate school the first time, and I got my degree from Fisk, one of my friends, she just posted today that she finished her doctorate this week at North Carolina Central University. So I was like, yes, that is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. So for me, joy looks like doing this, but it also looks like putting my book out, finishing up the follow-up children's book, working on some other projects, and really honing in on and getting back to finding joy in the things I write about. And that's what I'm choosing for 2025. I'm choosing to write about the things that give me joy. And so that means, like Lala said, music is one of those things. I love writing about it. I love studying it and I love analyzing it. And so that was my intent for this program. So I'm hoping that that's going to be my 2025.
Okay, and before we get, if anything, Dr. Tachi wants to add, Just Tornado, what is up? You were with myself and Dr. Tachi earlier this morning. She says, you better preach, LaLa.
Love it.
Dr. Tachi, you want to add anything about choosing joy and peace in 2025?
Absolutely. It's very important that we choose joy and peace for ourselves, especially after this very contentious year and election season. So part of that is for me is also embracing the power of no. I am not going to always do thing. And I've already, have been doing that type of thing. But I noticed this year that, especially because I'm organizing a whole bunch of people to do something together, but I sort of get lost in that sometimes too. And the things that I want to do for myself get lost in that. So this year, I don't care. If it doesn't get done, because I'm somewhere, that's too bad. It just doesn't get done. So, and I'm not going to stress myself for people. If people don't get things in on time, oh well, it just won't be played. That's my whole attitude this year. I'm embracing the power of no and embracing the power of me. Whoever doesn't like it, you already know I don't care. So
well, I just add onto that for you, Dr. Taji. Here's a suggestion. no is a complete sentence.
Oh, absolutely. There's no but. It's just no.
No is a complete sentence. And but some people need to get off their butt, get off their butt. You know what I'm saying? So there's but but, and there's but butt. For myself, one of the things I want, and I've started to get really intentional about this, especially in the last few years, is that spending time with special people. Joy and peace. I'll give a perfect example. Happened today. The grocery store I shop at a regular basis. Over the last number of years, there's an older Jamaican gentleman that comes in every once in a while. And as he got old, he lost his wife a few years ago, and he always used to come in. And I know one other gentleman who works at the grocery store. Him and I have been good friends for a long time. And this older gentleman would always come in and buy flowers for his wife to take to the gravesite. And so a few years ago, we didn't notice he wasn't coming in as much. And going, is he showing up? What's going on? Et cetera, et cetera. And about 3 weeks ago, I was in the grocery store. His son was there, and I go, "How's your dad doing?" He goes, "Oh no, my friend who works there says, oh, he's coming in about 2 weeks' time." I said, "Really?" So went in there today, and there he was with his son. 95 years old, great energy, and I mean, such a wonderful conversation. And a man who's 95 years old, who's lived a lot, seen a lot. I asked, what are some things you can give me to just, as an elder, just give me some words of wisdom. He gave me that, and then I made sure I took a picture with him because I don't know when I'm going to see him again. So I want to be intentional, including the ladies on the screen here, that I do my best. I'm going to do my best to take care of myself so I can give you and you all your best. And I know it's a euphemistic thing to say, but every encounter I have with someone, I want to make sure, I like to have them feel like they have a new set of lungs. So, and I'm choosing joy and peace, and I've learned to say no, and I delegate like crazy. I just want to keep, as I said, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. That's what I'm doing more and more, so I can have the energy in me to give good energy out. Yeah. And if there's something that doesn't align with me, I don't do it. I say, no, it's not going to happen. So joy and peace in myself, so I can bring joy and peace for others. And if they're not willing to take it, no problem. I bless them and leave them.
Yeah. And just face it, facts. None of us are as young as we used to be. We're tired.
Age ain't nothing but a number. You know what I'm saying?
We're tired. Get someone else to do it.
There you go. Right. All right. There we go. So that's it for this conversation. There's 2 more comments that came. I just want to add. Regina says she is okay, but her best friend chose not to fight inflammatory breast cancer and is now in hospice. I am sad.
Sorry.
So, and this is a thing too. I'll come to that comment in just a second. Back to it. Michelle says, and where did all the fruit trees grow? Growing up, we had peach, apple, orange, and other fruit trees. They're gone.
They went. They outsourced those too.
Yes. So, so especially, I know I'll let you guys do your contact information and we'll end it off. So, first things first, let's go to Dr. Tachi. There she is. Where can we find you?
Just like it says on the screen, Instagram
there you go.
is a great way to contact me in the DMs if you have anything you have a question about or just want to connect. And of course, I am the founder of Indie Soup Media, an independent network for independent content creators. So check us out at where the main channel is. Actually, you could go to our website, but the main way to watch is on YouTube.
There you go. And the website will take you to YouTube. There you go. Next up, the key.
It's me. It's me.
The onesie key. The onesie key.
Exactly. Because that's where I'm comfortable. Listen, you can find me everywhere, but I made it really easy for you. I'm on bit.ly/Laura Key Info. I also did a beautiful class today about
buying homes internationally as well as in stateside, you all need to start really looking at owning your own piece of land. I also have a beautiful store that I am doing. I have a lot of Black creative things there for you. And so you can shop at bit.ly/roots and richness. And you can find me on that website at all social media, because I am coming for YouTube in 2025.
It's about time. And also, too, just a suggestion, share all those links in our Discord group. And what I'll do is I'll share it to some other groups here in Canada, if you're up for that.
Thank you.
All right. And then the Staggers.
Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
that's me. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, my Medium, and Blue Sky. And next week I'll make sure I reiterate those points again about how to get yourself off of Twitter and save your content that you've already put up there, as well as your username so no one else can use it and post under you.
Fabuloso. All right. And myself, these are all the places. Website, the drvibeshow.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, the drvibeshow, Instagram at the drvibeshow, X/Twitter, who knows for how long, at drvibeshow, and email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow, and can't forget Blue Sky at drvibesky.social. All right, man, people just getting, let's stop. Hold on. Okay, last comments. Just Tornado, joy and peace aren't things you stumble upon. They are choices. Love that quote. Love that. Glad you're all choosing you. Thank you, Just Tornado. We need to have you come on. Real Django says, hands up, blessings. And Michelle gives the eye emojis. I don't know what for, but if you stay on for another moment, you can give me the reasons why you're putting those emojis. And finally, you can watch replays of Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa at the Dr. Vibe Show, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. The Dr. Vibe Show at my website, the drvibeshow.com. And remember, next week, Saturday evening, last live Primetime for the year. Ask us anything. So my LaLa, Aisha, myself, hopefully Dr. Tachi, and hopefully Jill Jones, ask us anything. We may be asking each other things that you may not know about us. So we'll even find out about each other on that last program. So as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourselves grace. Also, special thank you to Aisha. I know you're not 100%, but thanks for sticking it out for the whole conversation. And I heard something good the other day. If you're not making money, make history. We'll see you.